Hey, quick question. What kind of example are you setting today? You know, as a mom, a dad, a boss, you know, just going into a grocery store, holding the door open. You know, this, like as I share, what falls on my heart, I'm going to talk about it. I might do one video a week, 4 a week. Haven't done a video for a little while, but this fell on my heart today. I'm not going to force anything. Whatever falls on my heart, I'm going to talk about it. And you know what? Some of you might not even care if you're leading by example. You know what? I care. I want to show my kids that, you know, I'm responsible and I take care of myself, and you know, I show up on time, I go to work, I take care of my commitments, I stand up for myself, I set boundaries. As I shared in an earlier video, I even set boundaries with my kids. You know, it's all about respect. What kind of example are you setting today? You know, some people don't even deserve respect. Oh, man, there goes a coyote. Wow. They're kind of hanging around over there. Saw one a couple weeks ago. Looking for some food. Anyway, some people, you know, don't deserve it. And what I'm sharing is respect. Like if you're not leading by example and you're a jerk, your kids are going to go, I don't want to be like that. You know, there goes a hawk swooping. So, you know, they might say, oh, my dad was this, but he was a jerk. I don't want to be that way. So, as I shared, some people don't deserve it. Don't deserve the respect, even though you're leading by example. You know, admit when you're wrong. You know, I got a quick story to share with you. And it was really interesting. We went to a big warehouse store, which I'm sure you're probably all familiar with. Well, you could hear the hawk. He's looking for something beautiful. I don't even know what it was. You know, bird watching is really cool to find out what that was. But anyway, saw a guy, you know, pull up with his truck and had a trailer on it, and you know, it took up like 5 parking places. You know, he didn't have to do that. There's plenty of outline parking fields that he could have went and parked, but no, he's got to take up 5 parking places. And he's got his daughter with him, and they come piling out of the car and go walking into the store. You know, what is he teaching? What kind of example is he teaching for his child? Does she think that's okay? And that's not okay. You know, there are a lot of people that would like to have that space to park. And he's taking up all that space because it's all about him, right? And it's like, I'm just shaking my head, whatever. You know, I shouldn't let this kind of stuff bother me, but you know, it's the society we live in today. And as I shared earlier, there's a lot of good people out there too. So as we come out, there's a gal with a baby, holding a baby in a little carrier. And her little son is out there pushing the shopping cart back. And I said, well, there are 2 contrasts. You have the guy taking up 5 spaces, and you have this lady teaching her son to be a nice young man. And I complimented her on it. I said, yeah, that's great. And she goes, yep, he does it every time. He doesn't even have to be asked, because it's in his DNA now. It's not all about him. It's about, you know, doing the right thing. So he's leading by example. Other kids see him, and maybe a parent would say, hey, see that young man over there? Look what he's doing over there. Hey, that's nice, huh? Yeah, Dad, that's cool. Yeah, I'm going to start doing that. So then pretty much everybody does it. But if you start getting away with all that stuff, then pretty soon everybody's doing all that stuff, all the bad stuff. But I want to share that today. You know, question, what example are you setting today? I'd like to hear your comments. Maybe you don't even care. Maybe it's, I don't care. I don't care if I set an example, which is fine if that's the way you want to be. I don't want to sit here and preach and tell everybody how to be, and not to say that I'm perfect, but I'm trying to learn every day about how I can get just a little better. I have my dentist, my chiropractor, just solid people, just solid, and you listen to them when they're talking to their patients and kind of overhearing them and say, man, these guys are great, tons of patience, sitting there listening to their clients and just good, genuine people. And you look at that and say, yeah, I got to start being that way more, kind of, seeing where people come from and trying to understand them better. Just like the guy that parked and took up 5 spaces. Maybe I need to understand that guy. I don't know, not really. Yeah. So, throw some comments and let me know what you think. Kind of example are you setting? I had great examples of my parents were just wonderful. My mom was very empathetic, just very caring. My dad was the same, but he was more of a hard driver. He just told you the way it was. And so, I look at my siblings and we all have a little bit of each of them in us, and which is important, to know where our strengths are and, where we need to improve, where our weaknesses are. So, gosh, what a beautiful day. I'm fortunate to be able to dip out on my break and talk to you guys today about something that fell on my heart. I do want to share, man, there's a lot of mosquitoes here in Northern California. And I've been asking everybody, they're flying around now, friends, coworkers and such, and said they're just crazy. And it's not because there's standing water anywhere, just if anybody knows about that, I know that's kind of a different subject, but anyway, I wonder if they're leading by example by chewing us all up. What kind of example are you setting today? Have a good one. See you in my next video.